Hey guys, we're dudes being critics here with our first podcast. How's it feel, Connor?
Feels good. You know what we're talking about today.
We are going to be talking about Pixar. By the way, my name is Sean Courtney alongside Connor Kerpat.
That's right.
I don't know why I said your name. You could have said it yourself.
I thought that's what we were going with, yeah.
But in other words, we are talking about Pixar in lead up to the big blockbuster film, The Incredibles 2.
Incredibles dos.
Incredibles dos. Not Trace. Dos.
Yeah, I don't know how to say incredible in Spanish.
Yeah, I'm not going Spanish. Anyway, in preparation for The Incredibles 2, we have decided to rank our favorite Pixar films. All the way from Cars to, let's say...
Cars 3.
Cars 3. Obviously, our favorite Pixar film. So, without further ado, we are going to break it up into several categories. We'll have 19 through 14. Then we will have 13 to 9, and so on and so forth. So, first up...
Can you repeat that? I didn't actually. I wasn't listening. 19 to 14?
19 to 14, yes.
Okay.
So,
ready to rock.
Connor, give us your number 19s, 14s.
19, I got Cars 2.
Ooh.
18,
Wow.
Finding Dory.
Wow.
Which I feel like the people actually kind of like that. 17, I got Brave.
Ooh.
16, A Bug's Life. 15, Monsters University. I feel like that's hated on. You think so?
A little bit.
And 14, I got Cars 3.
All right. Now explain why you chose those to be at the bottom of the pack.
All right. Finding Dory. It got ridiculous when the squid drove the car. Or the octopus, whatever it was.
Agreed.
When it drove the car, that's when I don't know. I wasn't having... And, Finding Dory... The first Finding Nemo, it was more of like a... it was a journey. But when it came to Finding Dory, I feel like it like, abruptly stopped.
Agreed. I agree.
Cars 2. Cars 2 just, to me, was not that great. It was like a cheap James Bond ripoff.
Yes. It wasn't not great. Not great, especially from Pixar.
Yeah. You're putting Larry the Cable Guy in the lead role for Pixar movies.
Yeah, when you do that, you're doing something wrong. And obviously, they didn't know that they were doing something wrong because they published it. And it actually became a movie. Yeah. Anyway, so, my 19
Hit me with it.
to 14. The bottom of the list, the bottom of the pack, the worst Pixar has to offer is Cars 2. With Cars 2, it's hard to associate with Pixar, considering just how annoying it was. I absolutely just hated the fact that Mater was the star of the movie.
Like I said, Larry the Cable Guy.
The Cable Guy was the star
That's
of a
right.
Pixar film, of any film. Of any kind is miraculous. Actually, Larry the Cable Guy he starred in another film that I actually quite frankly don't even remember. I think it was a Christian film of sorts, a faith-based film of sorts. I don't remember it because it was forgettable. Cars 3, next on my list. I was not a fan of Cars 3. I thought the first half was a complete bore. It picked up, I will say, in the second half. It definitely picked up. However, I thought the ending was very abrupt, very predictable, and it just was not a good experience overall.
Did you like the car crash?
The car crash was fine.
I like that part.
But it still, after that, next like half an hour or so, it just was unbearable, to be honest. Almost surpassed Cars 2 in unbearability.
Are you kidding me?
Unbearability, is that a word?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're going to go with it anyway. Next on my list is a kind of a shocker. It is A Bug's Life. When it first came out, it was known as this technological marvel when it came to animated films. People were raving about it. And I agree. The animation is beautiful, especially at the time that it was released. But from narrative perspective, I don't think it did a very good job. And the controversy with the movie Ants and that it may have ripped it off, whatever the case may be. And I always say when it comes to two films, I think Ants was much more clever. Narrative was much more sharp, focused. If you had combined the animation of A Bug's Life and the narrative of Ants, it would have been a great film. But on its own, Bug's Life, it's a fine movie. I don't have any issues with it. And when it goes from Cars 3 to A Bug's Life, for me, there is a pretty big gap. I would even say 17, so forth, are pretty good movies. But yeah, Bug's Life, I would definitely argue is in the bottom of the pack. Next at 16 is Cars.
Deep dose nostalgia.
It is. Okay. Putting nostalgia aside, it seems like a big cash grab.
Yeah.
Personally, the entire Cars franchise,
Yeah.
it didn't really seem like a Pixar film. if we're really going to include nostalgia, I will say it does have a place in my heart. I remember seeing it when I was a kid in the theater, even owning the games, the toys. However, as a film, it's fine. It's fun. It's definitely predictable, though. It's, very formulaic, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's not the worst that they've done, but it definitely isn't near the best.
I agree, because, in cars, I remember when I was a kid, I had the toys, too. But, then you had toys, it was, hat salesman car. And, it was all these cars, what are you going to play? How are you going to play with a hat salesman car?
Exactly.
You know exactly. But people bought them.
Yep.
I did.
Number 15, I have Brave. Where'd you have this on your list?
17.
Okay, so
I don't think it's very good.
So fairly close. Yeah, expectations
Pixar,
were.
I think.
It doesn't, and expectations for the trailer were pretty high.
That first trailer was amazing.
Seeing the trailer when it came out, I thought it might have been even a scary movie in a way.
That's
you see
what I
the
thought,
bear, and then you see her shooting. Then the movie came out, and it was a little too silly. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it is an animated kids film, but I like that they had a strong female protagonist.
Me too.
It did have its very funny moments. It definitely has moments, but as an overall Pixar movie, again, when we're talking about these bottom kind of pack movies,
right.
They're the ones that really didn't feel like a Pixar movie that we were all used to.
Yeah, to me, Brave, I thought she was a great protagonist, but I thought it could have went off and been something totally different from what that first trailer had. She could have went on a journey or something like that and had to do something like Trials, something like that. Where she fought the bear.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something like that.
I think that would have been. It would have had a
raise the stakes. Raise the stakes.
Exactly. It would have had a bigger.
Just her mother was the bear, and she was
Exactly. It would have had a bigger payoff.
It's a good mother daughter movie. I feel
no.
It shows a good mother daughter bond. They're growing.
Yeah, it's a fine movie. Yeah. It's definitely not a bad movie by any means, but it definitely could have been better. And lastly, at 14, I do have Finding Dory. I think it's also because of expectations.
Yeah.
I remember when it was first announced that they were making it. I was really excited to see it. And again, I had a good time with it, but even what Connor said before about the truck scene, it was kind of ridiculous. It definitely had its beautiful moments. But as an overall movie, especially when comparing it to its predecessor, it did not meet expectations. But all in all, it was a good time. So that is our 14 to 19. Pretty even, I'd say.
Did you do Finding Dory.
We pretty much have almost exactly the same.
Same group.
Actually, I think we nearly have the same group. Yeah. So
same group mixed up.
In the same boat so far. However, that is most likely subject to change.
I believe so.
So, Connor, if you're number 13 to 9,
13.
What do you got?
This is gonna be controversial for you because I know you like this movie.
Oh boy,
Toy Story 2.
Oof. Okay.
Do not think that I watched it as a kid. I did not like that movie. Stinky Pete. I did not like Stinky Pete. I did not like who's the chicken guy? Remember the chicken guy? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought that movie to me wasn't that great. As a kid, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Maybe that's why. I don't know. It just to me, I didn't find it that good. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these Pixar movies is it's again we tend to blend nostalgia with our criticisms because we grew up with these movies, and that's with all movies. And when it comes to Pixar specifically, though, it's hard to differentiate it. But I respect your opinion, Connor.
Yeah, to me, and the whole part where it's Woody was away, he got sold. He got sold. Yeah. And Buzz and then went to go find him. I don't know. It just wasn't really about Andy or anything involving them trying to. I don't know. It just wasn't. I didn't like that one as much.
Okay.
And the second Buzz too. Yeah, I didn't. It was kind of funny, but it was okay. It just was okay to me. I don't know. Okay.
Agree to disagree.
12. Good Dinosaur.
Okay.
That movie gets hated on too much. I watched it the other day. It's amazing visuals. Amazing
Without
visuals. Yeah, no doubt about it. The story was a little shaky at times. You could see where they were having some trouble. But overall, to me, one of the most powerful points of the movie, I think, was the silence of the because the boy couldn't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Two scenes that were the most powerful is when the boy buried the sticks, resembling his parents, and the scene at the end when Arlo drew the circle around the boy's new family. And those scenes I thought were both so powerful because they were mostly silent.
Yep.
You know, but it was showing what they felt with silence. So I thought that was really good. 11, Cars.
Okay.
Cars is a little bit higher than yours, I know. But Cars, I think it's a pretty good movie, you know. I don't think it's that bad. Nothing to hate about it. You know, Chick Hicks, Doc Hudson, all the boys in that movie. I think it's good. I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
I don't even remember when you said Chick Hicks. It brought he's a green car, right?
Yeah,
like the mustache.
mustache.
He's the douchebag of the clan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I like the whole him finding the town and like fame wasn't his real like.
Yeah, I liked it. It was familiar,
fame doesn't
but
mean anything to him. Fame shouldn't be what means anything to him. It should be like family.
Agreed. Okay.
I thought that was cool. 10, Up. Up, I think, gets way too much love for the first 15 minutes.
I agree. And I'll get to that with my position
so I'm
on it.
I'm going to let you talk about that one. Number 9, Toy Story.
Okay.
I think it's a good one. You know? It's a good one. I just don't think it's definitely a top 10, but definitely not top 5.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
You're number 9. All right. A little different. Actually, one of ours was exactly the same. I'll get to that in a little bit. Number 13, I had The Good Dinosaur. I remember seeing the teaser months before it came out and saying this is going to be something special. And was I let down a little bit? Absolutely. I had very high expectations for it, and I was a little let down. But it wasn't the worst that Pixar has done, especially visually. It may be their best film visually.
That or Coco.
Oh yeah, the visuals, the environment, the amount of detail put into it is remarkable. My only flaw of from a visual standpoint is the fact that the dinosaur himself is a bit cartoonish.
A little goofy,
I thought that was a bit. It was a bit of a weird choice, considering how realistic and detailed the environment itself was.
Yeah.
And again, narratively a little uneven, a bit sloppy. It's from a again narrative standpoint was not Pixar's best work, but
I feel like in A Good Dinosaur, if I was a little kid, I'd be scared of that movie.
It was actually pretty frightening. There were a couple scenes
like when he picks up like that adorable fox, a pterodactyl, and he swallows it. Yeah. I was like, dude, if I was a little kid, I'd be terrified.
It was heavy too. I feel like, and I think that was the problem that people have with it was it wasn't a good blend of a kids film.
Right.
You know what I mean? That and I think it was almost too also a bit almost too childish for adults to really appreciate.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Between, yeah.
It was in a weird kind of limbo. But anyway, that's a Good Dinosaur. Number 12, I didn't expect it to have this high on my list, is Monsters University. Definitely was not nearly as good as as Monsters Inc. But it was serviceable. It was good.
Yeah.
It was funny. It definitely had some powerful moments. And as a prequel, it did its job. It established the characters. We got to know them a little bit more. Why they became who they became, and why who they were.
Which was
in
interesting.
The original. And it was good. It definitely had its flaws, without a doubt. But overall, it was a good film. Yeah. Now, number 11 going forward are top tier. That's what's so great about Pixar is that even their top 11 are fantastic. And I'm gonna get hate for number 11. I know I am. It's regarded as number 1 on many lists.
If it's Coco, I'm kicking
out. It's The Incredibles. And let me tell you why. Look, I enjoy The Incredibles. I think it's a really solid superhero movie. Easily one of the better ones.
Okay.
But with The Incredibles, it just didn't strike a chord with me like the other 10 Pixar movies I have forward did. I didn't really have an emotional connection to it. I thought the opening scene was great.
Great. I think that's one of the best parts.
Ending was a ton of fun. And it's funny, I'm really excited to see what they do with the new one. I am really excited to see the direction they go into. And the fact that The Incredibles is number 11 really does go to show
how good Pixar is.
Exactly.
I read something one time, which I was hoping this was what they were going to do with Incredibles 2, which obviously they're not doing this. It was that they make everybody older. I hope that they did that. And like Violet got married to that guy. Remember the guy she met at the end?
Yeah.
Dash got older, and Jack was the villain.
Oh,
wouldn't that be cool?
I think that would have been cool.
I feel like that would have been a little cooler.
I mean,
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with this.
We'll see where they go, and it's Pixar.
Yeah,
it's not. It can't be bad. Then again, they've had trouble with their sequels and prequels. I mean, we have Cars 2, Cars 3, all these movies. Bottom. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
I'm worried the villain of Incredibles 2 is gonna be another like Disney red herring.
I agree. I'm totally with you on that. Yeah. Now, number 10 is Up. I used to have this much higher on my list.
Same as me.
I thought the first, I'd argue 10 minutes of it, not only one of the best openings out of a Pixar film, but out of film in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the best openings of cinema, in my opinion. The fact that it made audiences cry within the span of the first 10 minutes, without even knowing the characters really, without any development, and the fact that they were able to pull off was incredible.
They basically told the story in 10 minutes.
Exactly. The rest of the film was very underwhelming, I would argue. Look, it was a fun journey, and I mean, it's number 10 for a reason. I did enjoy the rest of the movie, but it didn't captivate me as much as the opening minutes. So I will argue, though, it did close out strong for me. I thought the ending was very powerful. Him giving the Boy Scout button or whatever it was, the badge to the kid, was very, very emotional. But the in-between was a little sloppy. Mm-hmm. But overall, very good movie.
You know what I have a problem with about Up? I think, I just thought of it, is the landscape and the environment where it takes place. How it's on that, like, island or whatever, but it is very, like, gray. And if there is color, it's just, like, green leaves, and it's all mist. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
It's very, like, colorless.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
And it's like, okay, you can do that in, like, certain parts, but I think some parts should have shown color.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the waterfalls look beautiful,
Yeah,
and that part did, but, like, when he walked around, I think everything looked the same. It was just, like, mist and leaves, and some parts, there was jungle.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But a lot of it, I felt like, when I think of Up, I think of him walking through the rocks, and, like, yeah.
No, I feel you. Overall, a really good movie, and number 9 is an interesting one. It's one I've recently watched, and that is Coco. Now, the thing with Coco is, again, goes to show how great these movies are, was very, very good. I love the opening. I love the idea of music and how important and vital it is to the world. I love the message they gave about family, about, what it means to be remembered, is there meaning in death? Like, it raised a lot of really interesting existential questions, which are very rare for kids' films. But obviously, it's up to Pixar to do that because they've been doing that for years. But no, Coco was phenomenal. The animation is gorgeous. Very, very much like The Good Dinosaur, where it just was visually astounding.
The details on Grandma Coco's face.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's astounding what they're doing with their animation. That's why I'm so excited for The Incredibles 2, even Toy Story 4, whatever they have going forward.
Toy Story 4, yeah.
Very, very excited. Yes, the songs, it was very good. I do have a bit of a problem with the villain.
The red herring.
Exactly.
Red herring
De La Cruz. I don't know. It was fine for him being a villain, but I thought it was almost a little too dark, having him kill or poison his friend. I thought that was almost too dark for Pixar in a way, and it didn't really. It kind of, I think it was a bit of a break in momentum for the movie because it kept going, it kept turning, and then that hit, and it made sense for the rest of the film, but I think it definitely lost a little of its grip. But again, overall,
I just thought of this.
Very movie.
What do you think De La Cruz was being nice to what's his name? Miguel?
Miguel, yes.
Miguel, yeah. Why do you think he was just being nice to him? You think he was just being nice to him?
I think
just
because
cool?
he was in Meyer, yes. And that was another problem I had with it, is they didn't really... And I get De La Cruz is the villain, but I like when movies really go into the villains and, have them maybe show remorse, whatever. What was it? The bell or whatever falls on him again, and that I thought it was a little too much. There was no, I don't know. I felt a bit.
I did like
lost
that how
there.
he was the reason he wanted to get rid of Miguel and the great grandfather was because he wanted to be remembered, and he never wanted to disappear. You know what I'm saying? Never wanted to move on. Like he couldn't move on.
Yeah.
From his past life.
Yeah, what I liked about 2 is that it kind of went into, you know, I guess kind of again like even what De La Cruz said, about seizing the moment, and you know I think it kind of delved into what does your legacy really mean?
Yeah.
Does it even have that much significance? I mean, you know what I mean? And
Right, because what happens if you happen to be forgotten?
exactly. The scene with the old man in the hammock thing and him disappearing was really hit me hard. And that's when I knew this was going to be a pretty special movie, and it definitely was. So we have our 19 to 9. We have the top 8 remaining. We'll do 8 to 4, or no, we'll do 8 to 5 and then 4 to 1.
I want to do 8 to 4.
Or you want
I like the 8 to 4,
8 to 4 and then 1.
3.
Okay, top 3. I like that. So
You want me to go? You want
let's
to
head right into it. Number 8.
You want me to go?
Do it.
Okay. Number 8, I'm going to say WALL-E.
Okay.
I think WALL-E gets a little too overplayed. And I think it's good. And like Good Dinosaur, I like how it's like not that much like talking. You know, I think that's really good. And I like how it delivers a message about the environment. But at the same time, you know, I think it is a little too overplayed. You know. And I think it's just, it's good. It's good. I like it a lot. But like you were saying, there's so many other great Pixar movies that this is where it lands for me. Okay. Stacked up against the others.
Okay.
Next, I got Finding Nemo. Classic. I love Finding Nemo. I think it's great. You know, the story, father and son. You know, the rifts that a kid can have between his parent wanting to leave, coming back. I think that's great. You know, how a kid, like, if you go out on your own, let's say a kid goes out on his own, he sees the struggles of what real life is like. I think that's all shown in Finding Nemo. Because, like, you know, I feel like a lot of kids are like, oh, I wish you weren't around. Like you know, Home Alone is like, oh, I wish you guys weren't here. And I think Finding Nemo does that well to show kids, like, you might say that, but if it actually happens and you actually get taken away or you actually are left without your parents, you're not going to want it.
And it's a great movie about letting your children go as well. For parents at the end, when you know,
because he was so over
exactly.
there.
It works for both. It works both sides. Yeah, Finding Nemo is great.
It's great.
Great.
Number 6, I got Inside Out. I absolutely love the ending when it shows that you need sadness. I love that because in the whole time, you know, it shows how she's trying, like, what's the main girl's name?
Oh, Riley.
Right. So Riley is, like, keeping in her emotions. All she's showing is because, like, you know, when she loses happiness and sadness, all she shows is anger, disgust, and fear.
Exactly. You need those things. You need these emotions.
You need sadness in order to look back on your past memories and stuff like that and experience joy.
You need sadness to experience joy. You need fear to experience happiness.
Yeah.
You know, it goes.
And I love the ending when you see the balls have, like, the mixed colors.
Yeah.
The orbs. I love that. I thought that was great. So I thought it was great. And even, like, letting things go, like how she lost Bing Bong, the imaginary friend. I thought that was great too. How you have to just, like, let things go, or like how the islands disappeared and she got new ones.
Yeah,
how we mature, we like new things.
Exactly.
I thought that was great.
Fantastic.
5, Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. so well done. I think it's just a great movie overall. I don't think there's. You got anything else to say about? What do you think I have to say about Monsters Inc.? Yeah, I'll save it for when you go.
Save it for when I go, but yeah, no, it's.
I think it's just like
it definitely holds a place in my heart. Yeah.
And 5, yeah. 4, I got Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is an amazing Pixar film. Just because of that, when Andy leaves for college, and they say goodbye to him, it's just so much power in that movie. When the toys lock hands, it makes me feel bad for my toys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the whole genius of Toy Story itself. Is having toys come to life. I mean, it's something, you know.
And I thought it also was good for the fans because it's like, you know, you have to move on. You know, you have to learn how to move on. Like, Andy moved on from his toys. Like, he never wanted to give up Woody. Like, at the end, like, that's the only one he wanted to take to college with him.
Yeah.
But then he realized, like, you know, why am I taking a toy to college?
Exactly.
So he gave it to the little girl and was like, you can use it more than I can. Which I thought was great. That really showed, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Being able to move on. All right, 3, Incredibles.
Okay.
I think Incredibles is great. Showing, like, family. Just the bond of family. And I think it's a great movie. You know, I get what you were saying. How, you know, there's...
No, it's a really good movie. It's a really good movie.
And I think like some of the parts in it, like it became political almost a little bit. Remember when the guy wanted to commit suicide, which I thought was that's kind of dark, and not many people
very
point that
dark.
out.
Exactly.
He wanted
I didn't
to,
understand that when I first saw it as a kid.
He wanted to commit suicide. Mr. Incredible saved him, and then he filed a lawsuit because he wanted to die.
Yeah,
that's pretty dark.
It did raise some very interesting.
Like, do they have a right to save someone who wants to die?
Exactly. And then the superheroes ties into that. And, what is it to be a superhero?
Yeah, and then do superheroes have a right to save anybody?
Exactly.
So I thought it was kind of Watchmen-esque. I don't know if you've seen Watchmen.
Okay, I haven't, but I've.
It's very Watchmen-esque. It's very Watchmen. Like, do superheroes have the right to save people?
Which I think is a really interesting concept, especially in
for Pixar.
Yeah, especially in the industry where superhero movies are being recycled, and this is the origin story in the same plot, and all
Marvel,
that. For Incredibles to kind of come in and do something like that was pretty special. Yeah.
Ratatouille.
Okay.
Number 2. I think Ratatouille is great. Shows you can do anything you want when you put your mind to it. That even a rat, like a pretty gross animal, can cook, can make food for people, can serve it up.
Yep, absolutely.
I think it's great. That's why I love it. Amazing visuals. Paris makes Paris look great.
I want to go now.
I know, me too. Yeah,
let's go
it makes you want to go. The music in it is great. The score is
the score in even in Cars 2, every single Pixar film has a fantastic score.
Ratatouille might be Ratatouille or Coco might have my favorite score, I think.
Okay.
Ratatouille is so good. Like I'm listening. Like I'm thinking of the music right now in my head.
Yeah.
So good. It's so good. Like there's so many good. There's some dark parts in that too when he sees the rats hanging in the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Number 1, I got Coco. I think Coco is the most beautiful Pixar film that I've ever seen. I almost cried like 3 times during that movie. And I think it goes to a dark place, kind of like Incredibles did, but even more so that they, like, you were saying he killed that guy. I think that's pretty dark. And it was brave. It was bold of them. I realized I just went into the top 3.
Oh, you know what, though? It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, so anyway, Coco. Yeah, I think Coco is number 1. I think it's great.
It's a really good movie.
And it shows, like you were saying, raises questions about what happens if you're forgotten.
Yeah, and like, which is something that is interesting.
And do the people that we admire, do they really deserve to be admired?
Exactly. I really like that too. I forgot to bring that up, but
yeah,
absolutely.
That was great.
Oh boy. All right.
Let me hear yours.
Let me go all the way back here. Number 8.
Number 8.
We actually had the same. Well, I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
Number 8, I got Finding Nemo.
That's close. Mine's 7.
It's a classic in many ways. I remember watching it as a kid, and I mean there were some scary scenes. I would argue. I mean, just like kind of like the shark, and then they had the whale, and they got eaten by the whale, and and there was so much going on. It's just I think it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful journey going on, and hilarious too. I would argue
I forgot
it's
about
one
the
of the funnier.
Light Fish. I think it was pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
One of the funnier Pixar movies in my opinion. Just a great movie. A bit disappointed that Finding Dory didn't live up to it.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, it's definitely one of the best. 7 is Toy Story 2 for me. I actually had this in my top 5 for a long time, but there were a couple that snuck in there ahead of it. But Toy Story 2 is in my opinion, is a great movie. It's definitely the lesser of the 3. But I love the journey they go on. The scene with the song, She Loved Me, and Jessie and her journey, and how the girl left her.
Oh, right, yeah.
That, in my opinion, might be the most emotional Pixar scene. I just, you could turn on it any time of the day. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if I'm in the best mood possible. Put that on, I am instantly sobbing.
Are you kidding me?
I'm serious.
No, I think that'd be me and remember.
Well,
remember
yes,
scene?
okay.
The Remember Me scene.
I can't argue with that. That was a bit too much.
That was too much.
It's too much, man.
That was too much, man. That kills me.
Number 6, we had the same. We had Inside Out. This is a movie that when I first saw it, I was actually really disappointed.
Really?
Reviews came in, pouring in. Brilliant, one of Pixar's best, and I walked out of the theater very disappointed. I liked it, but I just didn't think it was anything special. When the Oscars came around and it beat out my favorite from that year, Anomalisa, for animated film, I was just in despair. I was like, oh, the Academy has it wrong. I can't believe they would do this. I sat down and saw it again. I want to give this a second chance. I want to see if my perspective might change, might be a little better. It can't get any worse. And I realized the brilliance of it all.
It is
and
brilliant.
It is, like you said, about sadness and needing sadness. the scene with her imaginary friend,
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
Oh, that kills me, man.
You
Bing
know,
Bong's
what
just-
do you say? Like, go with the Star Screen or something like that. Or, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, so many great scenes, and it's funny. I actually saw it a third time
Really?
in my psychology class.
Oh yeah, I did.
It's
too,
a
yeah.
great psychology film that you wouldn't expect from Pixar. And it's also, again, brilliant. I think
it's really clever. Like the
I
train
agree.
of thought.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Everything
The
had
nightmares
meaning.
are like
exactly.
the dreams are like movies.
Exactly.
As a studio. I
loved it. I loved it. And it really, I think it brought back Pixar to its former glory. I think for a long time it was just unoriginal kind of, you know, it was prequels, sequels, and it just was the same premise. This finally brought it back to its originality and its roots.
Because it was something really special.
It really was. It really was. Now, top 5 was insanely hard. I'm mixing things up. Even as we're doing this podcast, I'm looking through and I'm swapping. I finally got settled on it. And number 5 is Toy Story. Now, the movie holds a dear place in my heart. I remember watching it as a kid, it being my favorite movie. And it still holds up today. Like, I mean, it was a huge achievement when it first came out, obviously. And even today, it does still hold up because of the journey, because of the story, the voice acting of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen. It is just an absolute blast. I could still watch it now, have a great time. And it's a really... it's just a brilliant...
Pete's Planet.
Brilliant
Pete's
idea.
Planet.
Exactly, yeah. The movie was just a pure joy to behold, and it'll always hold a special place in my heart. Number 4, another Pixar film that holds a place in my heart. Let's just say all of them do, except for Cars 2. Did that rhyme?
I think it did.
I feel like it rhymed, but I also...
we have a rhyme alert.
Yeah, rhyme
have to make
alert.
that a thing.
That's definitely not going to be a thing.
No, I think it has to be a thing. Like every time we rhyme by accident, you gotta like...
Post in the comment section, guys. Do you want a rhyme alert?
Every time we rhyme by accident...
I don't think they do.
I think they do.
All right, well... all right, I'm going to fire you after this episode. Anyway, so... Number 4 for me is Monsters, Inc. Phenomenal movie overall. And I love Billy Crystal, John Goodman.
Oh, is Mike Wazowski?
I
love Mike Wazowski.
The chemistry between the two is undeniable. It completely made the movie. The score,
True.
The hilarious moments with the kid in the bag and oh god, that restaurant scene. Oh my god, and I love the world they created. The whole premise of it. Again, going back to Pixar in their originality and how brilliant they are. I think Monsters Inc. really solidified them as.
And don't forget the logo. We cannot forget one of the funniest jokes Pixar ever made was Mike Wazowski being covered by the logo.
That was okay.
That was one of the funniest jokes.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh my god, it's me," and then Sully's mom calls.
Yeah,
and she's like, you see me on TV. And it's like, who is
funny.
it? It's your mom. And I was like, oh shit.
No, it was absolutely. The ending is unforgettable.
True.
With him opening.
Oh yeah, and is she supposed to be older in that?
I loved it. I don't know.
She says Kitty, right? That's what she says.
I think so. Yeah. Phenomenal movie. Phenomenal. Number 3, coincidentally, is Toy Story 3. See what I did there? Number 3. Yeah.
Little 3 guy.
Yeah. I'm very proud of myself about that. Anyway, yeah, Toy Story 3 is. Fantastic. What we thought was going to be a conclusion, they're making a 4th coming out next year apparently, but it just the culmination of the first 2 movies, going into that the moment when they're holding each other going down the whatever it was the
trash compactor.
Yeah, so powerful, and the whole movie, seeing Woody kind of being disconnected from his friends, and then being locked up in the Barbie. There's so many...
Story of Lotso, Hug, and Bear,
exactly.
too.
Yeah, I would argue, is Pixar's best villain, in a way.
True.
Well, actually, I'll get to who I think is the best later on, but...
I don't know. It's got to be close. Hayes really good. Syndrome, I think, is pretty good.
You'll see who I think the best villain is, and I'll tell you in a sec. I'll tell you in a quick sec. But yes, Toy Story 3, phenomenal. Best of the 3 in my book. And I'm so excited to see what they do.
Who would you
with
say the
story.
villain of Wall-E is? The machine or the man?
Well, that leads me to my number 2, Wall-E. That was good. I don't know if you looked at my list.
I did not. I just asked. I just thought.
Yeah, Wall-E is it's a masterpiece. The first time I saw it when I was 8, I was mesmerized, and I see it when I'm 18, and I'm still mesmerized. So first, whatever act of it being a silent film. Wall-E watching.
Yeah, it's pretty much silent. Yeah.
Watching Hello Dolly on the TV and so many. I think they even made a reference to 2001: Space Odyssey at one point. The whole movie was just brilliant from beginning to end.
True.
It was hilarious. Wall-E was just the cutest character, and having seen him almost die at the end was pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved, again, the message about the world and that we need to protect it, and that.
And you know what's crazy? It's like, is that possible? Like, I could see that totally happening.
That's what was interesting about it, was I feel like it's a possibility, and God, there's almost too much to love. I can't even fit it into this podcast. I adore that movie. However, there was one other movie that made a lasting impression on me. Not only is it my favorite Pixar film, but it may be my favorite film, and that is Ratatouille. Now, it sounds weird off the bat. I mean, Connor had it at number 2, which is insanely high as well, considering other lists, other opinion.
Definitely the most underrated Pixar film.
It's the most underrated, overlooked, and yet the best I think Pixar has ever done. Again, I would have to do a whole review on it to get all my points down.
We might have to.
I think we should.
We should have to do
we should.
Yeah.
And it is just, okay, from a visual standpoint, brilliant. I adored it. I adored seeing, Paris, and seeing the restaurant scene. I love it. And Colette is telling Linguini everyone's story, the chefs. And he says,
it's a great scene. Yeah, because
I love that, and we're all artists, and we all are unique, and I love that. I love.
Everyone has their own flavor.
Exactly. I think it's the best film, or without that one of the best films about being an artist and
pursuing your dreams.
Exactly. And I love the saying anyone can cook. It's much deeper than it seems at face value. And I love, my favorite scene is probably with the dad saying, you can't change nature. And Remy says, well, change is nature. And I remember, because I remember as a kid loving it. And then I saw it a couple years ago for fun. And I heard that quote, I said, man, this movie is special. This is, completely overlooked. And, it got nominated for several Oscars, all sound editing, which is, if you actually watch a movie and the sounding and the, oh God, everything about it is spectacular. The score,
one of my favorite scenes, when the rats fall from the ceiling in the old woman's apartment. It's like quiet and they all run out. Oh, that's great.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love what's his name? Patton Oswalt or whatever, who was Remy. Oh my God, he was awesome. And for best villain, I would argue it's Anton Ego. The thing about him was, obviously in the beginning of the film, it was established, he's this mean critic, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And that really goes to the best scene in the movie, which is him eating the ratatouille and going back to his childhood. And it wasn't a big fancy dish. It was ratatouille. It's a peasant dish. But it brought back so many memories. So the tiny, and he even says that the tiniest piece of junk could be the most meaningful. And I thought that it beautifully explained
because it's like whatever, it's really what means something to you.
Exactly.
Like even what we're doing right now. So
exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean. But even just being critics and what it means to be a critic, and you don't have to be egotistical. Hence the name Anton Ego. Yeah. And no, his monologue at the end, and I'm here. I got to check who's Anton Ego in the film. He passed away after the film. Peter O'Toole, who is Anton Ego, does he has a monologue at the end of the film that is completely and perfectly sums up the film in beautiful fashion. I love the ending, and it's funny because the best Pixar movies, in my opinion, were the ones that made you cry. And I didn't cry in Ratatouille, but I didn't have to. It didn't need necessarily that big emotional payoff.
Yeah,
it was just, in my opinion, a perfect film. And with that, that concludes our list, our rankings.
First
of Pixar
podcast.
films. Let us know down in the comment section what yours were. We really want to hear what you think. I really
Indeed,
want
we do.
different opinions. You know, if you think Ratatouille's trash, if you think Coco is trash,
I think Cars 2 is number 1.
exactly. Let us know.
What's your opinion?
You may be wrong. Your opinion is completely wrong. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But seriously, Cars 2,
trash.
Cars, really, guys, come on, Jesus. Anyway, guys, we're dudes reviewing movies.
Dudes just being critics.
I already forgot the name, and with that, so long, farewell.
Ta-ta for now.